slashed tires, stolen blouses, and sucker punches. What is going on in the Keys? We'll break it all down for you on this after show of Bloodline, coming up now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It's just two of us. Hello, everyone.
Intimate.
Welcome. I know, it's so intimate tonight. Welcome back to the Bloodline After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. It's just the two of us tonight. We're holding it down, Angela and I.
Yes.
But we'll have our full panel back next week, so all good. Tonight we are talking Season 2, Episodes 6 and 7. It's parts 19 and 20. They make that so simple for all of us.
Yeah.
We missed you last week for 4th of July. We hope you all had a fabulous 4th of July. We're going to break down both episodes. It's going to be juicy. If you're not already subscribing, please subscribe. youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. On Twitter, you can use the hashtag ABTV Bloodline and chat with us. Let us know what you think. There's a lot of juicy stuff going down, so feel free to talk to us. I'm your host, Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean. I am joined by Angela. Where can they find you?
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Angela Struck. You can find me on Twitter at the Angela Struck and on Instagram at Angela Struck.
Boom. So we'll start with episode 6. We'll just kind of get into that briefly.
Yeah.
It offered a lot of gems, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of interesting things happening with Mrs. Ortiz.
I know.
Gosh, I didn't see that one coming.
Neither did I, although that's the great thing about the show.
Yes.
Yeah. So they open the show. John is legit freaking out, full on.
Yeah.
You can just tell I don't know, the whole show is anxiety central.
Of course. And I mean, the whole world is on his shoulders.
Yes.
I've said this before. I mean, he gives me like a heart attack just like looking at him.
Well, him and Kevin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I feel for John, like, because I feel like everywhere he turns, he has another problem.
True. Absolutely. He really does.
And this campaign doesn't look like it's going good. And at the start of this episode, and there's just like a lot of craziness. So yeah, he's freaking out.
We also see Eve. She shows up to John's house. It was like as though she was trying to do like a get to know you thing. We still really don't know what the angle is with her.
Yeah. I don't know. She's very cryptic to me.
She is.
Yeah.
Although it's strange because then we're getting little conversations that she's having with Ozzie, where all of a sudden we think, wait, are you trying to be nice with the Rayburns?
I mean, I'm very confused by her. I thought that she was obviously, there was some hidden agenda, trying to get money, trying to steal whatever she can. And then we saw that and I was like, oh,
strange.
Maybe her intentions aren't so bad.
Yeah, but then so in the conversation at John and Diana's house, they could sense, I think, something from Jane. Jane was more inquisitive about who she was, Nolan, the whole backstory, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
So Eve sort of, I think, preyed on that a little bit.
Latched on.
And realized that she could, I don't know, weasel her way in maybe a little bit more with Jane.
Yeah,
Jane
get
was
some sympathy from her and kind of maneuver. Yeah.
Make the maneuvers.
Right.
And ended up kind of taking her shopping, but not because she just stole a blouse that I was like,
so weird to me, though. First of all, that whole, we're talking about the coffee, Eve picks her up at school and goes and takes her coffee. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I was in school, if I was to be picked up by my parents, I would only go home with my parents or at least call and be like, hey, like, I wouldn't just be like, oh, like random ex of my dead brother, uncle, baby mom. I don't know. It was just like weird.
I think she's of the age, though, where there's probably less of the parental pickups happening and more of like, hey, I'm going out with so-and-so after school, or, oh, I'm going to go study.
I can do whatever I want.
That kind of a thing. Yeah.
She was annoying this episode, though.
You didn't like her so much?
I just found her to be really angsty.
She was.
And, like, a bit annoying. I mean, I don't know.
I think she's harboring a lot of... anger towards the fact that her uncle isn't around anymore, because I think she and Danny had a bond that was sort of, even though
he threatened to kill her.
Well, it's interesting because in her eyes,
it wasn't.
She didn't feel that way.
She didn't know that.
And in Danny's eyes, I don't think that he would ever have harmed her. Right. I think he was manipulating the situation because he knew that he could present something to John and make John feel like something was going to go down that was not good, and it worked.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think he would have ever harmed her.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as that guy.
I don't think so either. Yeah. I highly doubt it, but that a person is even capable of insinuating that with their sibling's child,
they're all
that's like, that was kind of weird.
They're just all effed up, Angela.
Yeah, I know.
They're all kinds of effed up.
I know.
Yeah, so I definitely think whatever this relationship is, obviously Jane now, she's intrigued by Eve. We're seeing that. She wants to know more.
She thought she was cool at the thrift shop, and she's the musician and everything.
Right.
So
she's, I don't know, it's a romantic thing happening between the two of them.
Yes.
Not romantic in that way, but just sort of like,
romanticizing one another.
There you go.
Or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
So Meg, she ends up finding out that Aguirre's ex-wife, there was like an incident. How did she figure this out? She was given a file.
Given a file
by who?
Gilbert, right?
I don't know.
I think it was Gilbert.
All right, so she was given a file. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how does she get this file?
Yeah, I thought it was from Gilbert and him kind of pushing, like, do what you want.
The money guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was him.
He was like, you need to discover something.
And she was like, I'm not going to do that. We're not playing dirty. But then desperate times call for desperate measures, and she goes to explore.
Dirty. And that's how she knows how to play anyway. So what is she thinking?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know. I think they like to play dirty, but they don't like to admit that they like to play dirty.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're always above it until they do it, and then like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Right.
100%. Well, really? You've been doing that for the entire show.
Your whole life, actually.
Yeah.
Your entire life.
Yeah, covering with
everything.
All the way back to the little girl's, death and the beating and all that. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, so she was given this file. She ends up discovering that Aguirre's ex-wife, there was a police report that was not filed for an abuse incident. So she's piecing things together. She goes to see the ex-wife.
Yes.
Pamela?
Mrs. Ortiz. I think
it was Pamela Ortiz.
Okay.
Yeah. Goes to see her. Pamela does not want to have two words. She you could tell that she's feeling victimized. She doesn't really want to engage.
Yeah.
She wants to let the past live in the past.
Right. She's probably scared of him too. I got I just don't want to go there.
Right.
Bringing all of that up in a campaign.
It's not good.
Yeah. Being on the news and yeah.
So interestingly, Meg goes to Chelsea,
right?
Which was very interesting since they have no
relationship really,
and just Meg was the kind of person that probably never waved,
exactly,
sort of scoffed, whatever.
And she comes from the wrong side of the tracks, Chelsea, and her brother is Eric, all that. So
they didn't want any association. So Meg, though, very hesitantly approaches Chelsea and says, is there any way you can kind of dig up some files? Pamela Ortiz, I think that this person didn't file a police report intentionally because she was told that she couldn't or what have you.
Right.
So doing some digging, and Chelsea was basically like, what are you asking me to do this for? But Chelsea ends up delivering.
I thought it was so funny. Yeah, I mean, she came through. I love her character. Yeah. I think Chloe Sevigny's character is so underutilized. That's what I wrote down. It's
underutilized.
She's so great, and she's such an amazing actress. And every time she's in a scene, I'm intrigued. Yeah. So I kind of wish we got more of her. But what I really loved about the storyline is I think it was the second episode of the After Show this season, we were talking about how the only character who's kind of not corrupt is Marco. And I loved that we saw that, nobody is, guilt-free. Everybody has done something wrong. He covered this up. To protect the sheriff, the wife beater. So I thought that was really interesting. It just goes back to the whole theme of this show, in my opinion, which is there's no black and white. Everything's gray.
Yep.
And I thought that was really interesting. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see unfold with how that's going to play into how John can mess with him, with Marco, and, you know, that whole thing.
It will be interesting to see, but it's also interesting the fact that Meg is really not telling John that she was the one that manipulated this whole situation.
I think he'll eventually
piece it together.
Yeah, because, well, as we saw in this episode, and our episode 7 is Marco's kind of now getting pressure from Aguirre to crack down on John. So if that keeps coming, then John's gonna tell him, well, you know, be careful.
I know some stuff. Yeah, so we learned that Marco basically got a promotion from Aguirre for covering up. He was like the first officer on scene, and I don't know what county he was working in at the time, but basically he got the bump to the position he wanted within a month of the covering up of the incident. So Meg basically discovers that Marco is now involved. Which is very disheartening for her on some level. But this is all just more fuel to the fire. And actually, so Meg, I guess, released the medical records to the I don't know, like a news publication or something, and so it was on the news
everywhere.
Aguirre basically, I don't know, he like brushed it off. He basically said that, you know, there's two sides to every story.
That she's mental illness or alcoholic or something. Yeah.
And she saw that, Miss Pamela Ortiz, and was not happy.
Yes.
And basically called Meg, and I think
she's ready to talk. Yeah.
So this is going to get good.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Kevin is sneaking drinks, then sneaking
what else is new?
Sneaking more drinks. There's a lot of drink sneaking happening with the Kev.
Yeah. Gosh. He just can't get it together.
He can't.
I don't know.
I wrote freaking out, drinks, more drinks, notice of default.
Yeah, he's got the issue with his mortgage and everything. Yeah, I think he's just going to get more and more desperate. I don't know what's going on. But I liked the scene when he goes to the paint store and then sees the guy from his meeting.
Well, then just tries to brush him off. Like,
I know, but then he comes around later on. I think that was just like the friend that he needed at that time.
100%.
I think Kevin is just in a position where he feels he can't be honest with anybody. He can't trust anybody.
Right.
And maybe this stranger that's just a shoulder to lean on and a ear to listen is what he needs right now. So I thought that was kind of a really cool scene. And I loved when then he went to the meeting.
Right. I know. And opened up finally to everybody.
Yeah.
Stood up and said at least all that he could say.
Yeah, owned it. Because I think for him to actually say it, I mean, that's
cleansing.
Yeah, definitely.
On some level.
Be honest about that at least.
Yes.
And he was painting the nursery. And
Green.
then she kind of said,
don't stop. I have possibly
complications. Yeah.
Which we learned is not good. But Belle is going to come on through because all the tests came back
she's
negative.
She's a strong woman. I like her.
I know. But man, what she puts up with. Oy.
Oh my gosh.
Oy.
I know.
Right? It's
I know.
I
know.
Eric goes to visit Ozzie. That was basically just a back and forth, shut the F up kind of a conversation.
Yeah.
It was like, you shut the F up. You know, anyway, so that was that. And then, Ozzie happened to be around when Diana discovers that she had a flat tire after coming back from the run. And, you know, I think once John saw the tire and it was like a clean, like, I don't know, knife incision. It's
he could tell. He knows what he's looking for.
But Ozzie was fishing for info and asking
to
weird
intimidate
questions.
too. I mean, I think he knows that by doing this, it's going to get back to John, and John's going to then get nervous and hopefully give him whatever he wants, money, whatever. But I loved how John, of course, you know, being the great police officer that he is, like, oh, he got the prints, you know, the fingerprints and found out the identity, which was cool. So finally, he then was able to track him down and.
That was a gnarly scene.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was interesting too with the Eric O'Bannon stuff because at first I thought that maybe Eric was in on it all with Ozzie, and now we're really seeing like
no,
no,
right.
he's acting on his own, Ozzie.
What do you think Ozzie is after?
I think that, as we saw, because it's kind of hard because we're blurring in 6 and 7, but I mean, I think we just got to go for it because it's like hard to talk about one when they're very combined. Yeah, I mean, when we saw him and Eve in the room and she was kind of defending the Rayburns almost, I felt initially Ozzie came into the scene like, oh, there's like sketchy stuff going on. I can maybe get some money off of this. Like, she's got the kid, you know, maybe we can finagle something. And then now I feel like she's kind of liking the Rayburns. I feel like she's like, maybe this could be a better situation than I even imagined.
Right.
And he's like, well, I'm pissed at the Rayburns now, and now I want not just money, but like vengeance and like to defeat them. So that's my interpretation.
No,
is
I
now
like it.
He's gotten like pissed.
Yeah, he's getting a little worked up.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like knowing that I think someone is sort of sussing him out in a big way.
Yeah.
I mean, John, yeah, it's messy.
That was crazy when he punched him and basically knocked. I mean, I think it's always funny though, because then the next episode he was there with like his like 5 little stitches. I'm like, that looked like he broke his face.
That's what I thought.
Like, maybe killed another person.
That's what I thought. I was like, John just killed Ozzie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, but no, in fact, he must have just been punching the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That was strange.
Yeah.
Back to Jane real fast. So Jane and Sally kind of had it out, and Sally smacked Jane. Jane was kind of going hard on her grandma. Danny hated you. You lied. Like, I don't know. We're definitely seeing some stuff coming.
Yeah, what was your thought on that?
The scene?
Yeah, like Sally's role. I mean, did you think she was out of line to smack her? I don't know. I don't know. My grandmother's like from the South, and like if I had spoken to her,
she would have smacked you too
that way. I mean, she would have probably been like, "Get in line." Now she never hit me or anything, but I'm saying, like, I didn't find it to be so offensive because she was coming so hard at a woman her senior.
Yeah.
About things that are really raw, like her dead son, dead husband, like, I don't know.
So like in the moment I was like, ooh, yeah, maybe she had it coming. And then once by the end of the episode, once we really knew that Sally was behind the whole cover up, like it was really spoken, that it was because of her that all the kids lied about what happened to Danny. I was like, oh, it's coming out about Sally.
Yeah.
It's all coming out. Because I don't really remember that in that way it was so spoken in season 1 where it was like, it was Sally's fault.
Right.
I don't feel like
I didn't find that. Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And then I felt like, oh, Sally should not have hit her.
Yeah, I mean, she probably shouldn't have, you shouldn't ever hit, I guess. But like, I don't know. Jane was pushing it there.
She was definitely pushing the buttons. It was also interesting, though, that kind of a heated conversation. I was like, where's everyone else during this? You know, like
I thought the same thing.
The minute you hear the kind of words that are being spoken, the things that are being said, wouldn't like the rest of at least one person from the family show up? It's not like they were so far away. Like they were sitting at the dinner dining area, and the kitchen was right.
I know.
So that part, I was a little like,
yeah. I don't know. I thought that was a little weird, but I mean, I guess it's just showing that Sally's cracking. I guess
Everyone's cracking. They're all cracking.
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't find it like Diana then got so upset with Sally about it.
There's stuff there though.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the point of it then. Because I didn't think just the smack alone would like validate that reaction from her. But I think she's over the whole thing. I think that Diana did not like Danny, clearly. I think that she knew that Sally enabled him. And like, maybe it's just everything.
No, I think it's everything. I do. I think there's just been so many things along the path for the two of them in their relationship where this is just one more thing that sent her over. And everything at the house now with John, it's just things are a little off.
Tense.
They're very tense. Yeah, there's certainly tense.
Yes.
So moving on to Aguirre again. This is now we're veering into we're in episode 7. So Aguirre basically tells Marco he wants to have Marco re-interview Meg and Kevin about Danny and that whole situation, what happened. Marco tells John that Aguirre wants to do this. It's sort of like a, hey, heads up. And so, of course, John then goes to his brother and sister and says, they're going to come after you guys again.
Right.
Get the story straight.
Yeah.
And that's when Kevin says, oh, great. I don't remember anything I said. I was blitzed out of my mind.
Right. I actually thought he covered it though so well in the actual interview.
Well, so I think that was deliberate. So
Yeah.
I think the whole being blitzed thing, they connected that.
That was like what they were like, perfect.
We can
You're
tie this
already
all-
like in meetings and like had this other run in. It all works perfectly.
Well, and it all kind of ties back to Rafi Quintana, who
perfect.
okay, so in the session with Marco, Kevin played it like he played it so elegantly that as though Marco wouldn't have known that there was any correlation between Rafi Quintana and Kevin.
Right.
Although, so I was thinking now, John must have said, okay, your dealer
Yeah.
is the one that we can point this at now on some level
Definitely.
to connect it back
that
to
was
Lowry.
a John move. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That was a master play. That was a chess move.
Put it all
Okay.
to the people that are dead that can't talk, and
Right.
then like let's just lay this to rest.
Well, and it makes so, and then Rafi's body was found on the boat, or
Right, or something like that.
burned. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just, I was like, this is a glorious.
No, it was perfect. He did perfect.
He did perfect.
And,
And
Meg,
she really like effed it all up. I know.
she really. I was so pissed at her because. Okay, this is like so hard because they just like jump around. But she did such a bad job. She seemed, first of all, I will say this in her defense, she dated him. So like he knows her
And how to push the buttons
differently.
Yeah.
Like than Kevin. And I think also she wasn't expecting it. I think she was like, my narrative's fine. I'm just going to keep going.
Right.
And then he brought up the trunk issue.
Yep.
Which doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It's sketchy.
Yeah.
She should have thought that one through. But I guess I too would have just been like, you know what? My brother had just died. Like, I was stressed. Like, leave me alone. Do you know what I mean?
Like she kind of salvaged it with like, I changed my mind. You know, when he was like, you didn't even drive your car to the airport. You took a cab. She's like, I changed my mind. Why would you load your trunk in the rain? It's like, yeah, that's all valid, actually.
Yeah.
You know, he's onto something.
Yeah, but here's what my question was, though. Okay, so he's like an ex-boyfriend, like in the court of law.
Right.
How would that like hold up in any way? Like, oh, but you know, I stopped by late night even though you had broken up with me and like saw you acting sketchy. Like any judge, well, you were, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, listen, he was clearly on to something. I guess he's saying like, it's just suspect, so I want to ask more questions. So then she brilliantly decides to go over to his house.
I did not see this coming, by the way.
I didn't see this coming either.
I was very surprised.
Although it's so clear that they still have like a connection.
See, it's weird.
I find.
Okay, so last season for me, I was all about her with
Alec.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alec?
I think
Alex?
so. Alec.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not sure.
I'm like, there's too many Alex right now on all my shows. I'm like, Alex. Okay, so
Something like that.
I don't know. I loved when they were together, and so whenever I saw Marco and her together, I always felt a bit. Where's the chemistry?
Well, totally. And
But
I think they
now-
wanted you to feel that way.
Yes.
I think though, now that
they're
she's
done,
cracking.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like a rock for her in the past.
Yeah.
That he's become more attractive to her.
100%.
And then I think she is the one that got away for him. Like,
yes.
I think he's like with these other younger, kind of arguably prettier women on the show, but he's still all about her.
Yeah, no, I did not see that fiery session coming between the two of them.
Yes.
And man, oh man, I was actually thinking, wow, this kind of works.
But I got so mad at her because when he asked about it, what was it? It was like, where were you or something? What was it that she had to lie about her alibi? She said that the guy...
Oh, he was in the
She didn't want him
apartment.
inside because the guy, her boyfriend that he cheated on with, was inside. And I was like, why would you do this? Like, why would you say this? You could have just been like, I just didn't want you to come in because I knew I would like give over to my emotions or like whatever. Like, I want to be alone. She said this and now he's going to check it. he's definitely going to check her alibi.
Well, that was my thing, too, is don't give him the name.
I know. It's like, can't you be smart enough at least to be like,
first name only.
Listen, I'm not telling you.
Right.
He's gonna check it. He's gonna know, and like then guilty. Then he's gonna know
that she's lying.
Yeah,
about
like the whole
things.
thing.
Yeah.
Too many sketchy things.
I mean, she revealed some stuff to him, which made him feel like, okay, she's giving me some truth, and I find that attractive because obviously the relationship was masked in so many lies that like any sort of like glimmers of actual truth, I think he finds very attractive.
She basically said like, we have a history of lying to the police. Like,
no, it's like here's
it wasn't the thing that I would have said.
Yeah, Yeah. No, it was definitely.
And I cheated on you, like, with this person. It was just like, you're literally saying everything wrong.
I know. I'm very excited to see how that's gonna play out.
I'm telling you, he's gonna check it and.
Oh no! Yeah, no, it's getting real.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the demise. Like she messed that one up big time.
Oh yeah. I know. So
she and her wine. I think she needs to cool it. She makes mistakes.
Eric brings Ozzie his gun back.
Right.
So Ozzie gave Eric the gun. Now Eric's giving Ozzie the gun back. We don't really know why, but Ozzie's got the gun. An unregistered gun.
I was wondering if maybe that was the one that he had given Danny.
Oh, it could have been.
And then now, like, Danny died. Danny gave him maybe Eric. I don't know.
I don't know either. But there's a gun now in Ozzie's possession.
Right.
That can't be good.
Right.
I'm like, not. And actually, that concerned me because he gets the gun and then he goes to see Meg at the campaign office.
Which was scary.
When she was alone. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's going to kill Meg.
Yeah.
Or something. Or shoot her or threat. I don't know. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was freaked out momentarily.
I know. Me too. Or even Rayburns. I don't know. I just got creepy vibes from him.
Yeah.
He's scary.
He is so good.
He's so good at this character. You hate him.
I know.
Which is, I mean...
But you hate him and you're also, like, intrigued.
But there's no hint of, like, sometimes you love and hate a character. I don't love this character. But I'm intrigued by him. But I don't love him.
It's weird because I think when I see him with Eve, I start feeling like he's got this layer of compassion or like...
He does have a vulnerability with her.
Right. And that makes me go, I hate you less.
It's true. But he's not actually looking out for her well-being.
No,
necessarily.
Well, we don't know.
He like wants to buy her the guitar and like wants to support her music or whatever. But like I don't know. I just feel like the best thing for her would probably be to get in with the Rayburns and like try and get on a straight and narrow.
Might be hard though. I don't know. It might be hard.
I don't know.
All right, and then we have John who goes to speak at a victim abuse meeting.
Violence or something.
Violence and abuse, and he's saying things, and he asks, or basically he's told that his wife should go, so she goes, and suddenly you can see in her mind, like,
she's putting it together.
Hardcore, she's putting things together based on what he's saying.
Yeah, and then she sees Jane... looking for the necklace, and she's like talking about, she's like, your uncle is a bad guy that like, and she starts to realize too, I feel like she's like,
I'm saying this, but I don't necessarily believe it. And
like we were sent away. He was really bad and had to be gotten rid of. I was like, oh gosh. I think also the conversation she had with Sally when Sally's like, we all had a part in Danny's death, even John.
Right.
And I think it's just all piling on, and she realizes it.
She realizes it big.
Again, question for you. What would you feel if, like, you have 2 children with a man who's pretty much up to this point been, like, pretty upstanding citizen.
Yeah.
And there's this guy threatening your children. That's his brother.
Well, allegedly, because then you get the response from Jane where she's like, he was not threatening me. And very clearly, like, for her, it was so night and day. Like, like no issues.
But he's creepy, Oh, remember he had that situation with her, though, in the house, too, last season.
Yeah, that creepy one.
That was creepy. I mean, he pulled some stunts.
He just likes to, I think he likes to prod.
But, like, I don't know. I'm not saying I would be like, that's okay, hubby, like, kill him. But, like,
no.
I would trust, to some degree, my husband if he actually, I mean, not kill, but, like, I would trust that, like, he did what he needed to do, I guess.
So I think for her... I think for her, it's now the fact that John's been hiding so many things. So it's not just like, it's not just, oh, hey, I went to Miami and I didn't tell you. It's like all these strings of things. And so she feels like she's been deceived on like an even greater level. So it's gone beyond like, oh, you've been an upstanding person and you did a really bad thing. Now
she's like, there's all this stuff going on.
It's like, literally, you're not the person I know. I don't know who you are.
Right, that's true. Like the bloody knuckles, and she's just like, who is this person? And he's creeping around all the time and not being honest with her. And
so I think now she's seeing it in a totally different way.
That's true. I guess I just like, I like John. Like, I like John.
So many
I'm always kind of just like in his corner. I feel like he kind of did what he had to do. I mean, I don't know. It's tough.
Well,
it's again black and, nothing's black and white. It's just so gray. Like, but anyway, she starts to put it together and she confronts him about it. I didn't think she would do that. I thought she would keep that information to herself a little longer.
It's strange though. They were having this very cryptic conversation where it's like she asked without asking, sort of, and then he told without really telling. It was like nods and grunts and like...
But you wouldn't even want to say it out loud.
No,
I think that was like the theme of that conversation was...
I can't say this.
I can't even verbalize it, but you know that I did, and I know that you know that I did.
Right.
Which
means that the next episodes are really going to be funky. I mean, essentially she said... You need to tell me that we're safe, and you need to tell me when basically we reach the point where we're not safe.
Yeah.
Because, and the thing is I don't know if John is going to be able to make that distinction.
No, because he thinks he's invincible a little bit at times. At times, I think he doesn't really realize, like, oh, like, I shouldn't be running for mayor right now with all this stuff going on. Like,
at the same time, though, he's also thinking if he's mayor, then perhaps he can manipulate situations like Aguirre did.
I know,
right?
But his is so much...
I know. Well, we don't know who Aguirre may have killed.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know. I'm just saying, we don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
I don't know.
It's like, what can you do as sheriff? Mayor.
I just think it's so funny because Aguirre was also like the sheriff on Dexter. I don't know.
I know I know. Every time I see him, I'm like, you sound exactly
wait, aren't we in Dexter right now? Like in Florida? Like it's just like
I know. What else are we missing before we do predictions?
So let's see. Drunk of a car. We covered all this, I think. I think we covered it mostly. I loved one little thing. I loved the beginning of the episode 7 when John was washing the blood off his hands. Just that metaphor. Like, I thought that was really nice. Like, writing and everything. You know what I mean? Just to open it with such a like
heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Although I really still can't connect why Ozzie's face didn't look more like his knuckles. Like, it just...
I know. That one, I thought that was bad. Like, I think they were definitely leading us to believe that he killed somebody. Like, killed Ozzie again. Don't you think? I think they were leading us that way.
Really?
I thought, like, maybe it wasn't intentional, but, like, you can knock somebody out and
for sure.
Kill them.
Well, especially with that many punches.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's do predictions. We should have had Blake and Abby tweet us theirs.
AfterBuzz TV
predictions.
Okay, what do we think, Angela? I know there's so many things.
So, gosh, I think Ozzie's gonna threaten to kill somebody with that gun.
Me too.
I think he's crazy. Mm-hmm. I think Diana's gonna pull away from John now a lot. Like, I think she's gonna, like...
Is she gonna move out?
Arguably. I think she's really gonna pull away. I think she's actually scared of him. I think she said it. She was like, I feel like I'm scared of you for the first time.
But I also feel like she can't bring it around the kids or make it obvious to the kids of what's happening. And so she has to sort of
walk
be
that
delicate.
Fine line. Yeah. And then I think Marco is going to fact check Meg's little story and her alibi with Alec or Alex or whatever his name is and see that she was lying. And I think all you know, is going to hit the fan now.
Do we think that Meg and Marco are going to have another get it on sesh, or was this like
I don't think
one
so.
last
I
hurrah?
think Marco was almost doing detective work.
Really?
I think that he was like, I think he was first letting his emotions get the better of him, but then the fact that he was asking those questions, that was detective hat he was wearing. You know what I mean? And I think that he like saw a different side of her. I don't know. I felt like that was the end of that little love affair.
It was like the cherry on top?
Yeah, I think she's just like, again with the messed up family for him. Again with, you know, the cheating reminder.
Right.
Again with lies. I think he's done with her. But, you know, Aguirre's pushing him to find out answers about the Rayburn family and their involvement.
Although I really hope more stuff comes out because of Pamela Ortiz. So I hope that I don't know,
if they can use that.
I do.
I hope so. I hope so.
I think it'd be very interesting to see John take office.
Yeah, like get a little bit
in this
more
situation, right? So like kind of handling everything in this climate, I think it'd be very interesting to see that happen.
Well, I definitely think he could, because even if this stuff with the trial is happening, like, you know, if Marco's getting onto something, I think that, you know, that would take so long to materialize in like an actual court case or something. Yeah. So like he could get elected before all of that unravels.
I know.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually very curious to see what's going to happen with Sally. You know, when we started, I said that I think things are going to start coming out of the woodwork with her. And so I think that that's beginning to happen a little bit. And I'm excited to see where that's going to take us.
Yeah, because they alluded to the fact that Robert got the in a sketchy way. Gilbert did. So there's a lot of little bones they're throwing us. So I'm kind of curious to see where it all
very
goes.
Excited for next week,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This was a double whammy, 6 and 7. We've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it even with 2
Go
down.
us.
I know.
I'm pretty impressed.
I'm pretty excited for episode 8, part 21. That'll be next week. I've been your host, Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean. Angela.
I'm Angela Struck. You can find me on Twitter at Angela Struck, or at the Angela Struck, and on Instagram and Snapchat at Angela Struck.
Everyone, we will see you next week. It should be a full panel. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.